This video is going to demonstrate how to use Excel to create a frequency distribution. Our mission is to create a frequency table using Excel for the 20 students asked the total number of hours they spent studying during a given week. So I've opened up a blank Excel spreadsheet and I've entered the data displayed in column A shown here. So these are the number of hours of study per week from the 20 students. We now need to decide on the class interval we will use to summarize the data entered here in column A. If you recall, we will want to use at least 5 but no more than 12 class intervals. Let's assume you decide to create the following class intervals of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We're going to input those values for our class intervals, that upper limit, in what's called a bin. So I have a column here, B, filled with the class intervals, and the 5 represents the number of hours studied 5 or less. The 10 is the number of hours studying 6 to 10, one more than the 5, and has that same width of 5. The 15 is the number of hours studying 11 to 15, and so on until we get here to 25. This will be the number of hours studying 21 up to 25. So these values I have listed in the column with the title bin are the upper limits of each one of my intervals. So I have 5 classes for this set of data. Next, we are going to click on the Data tab at the top of the page. On the far right, under Analysis, I'm going to click on the Data Analysis button. I have instructions for you if this is not showing up on your Excel that you can find in Schoology. Clicking on that tab, we have another window that's opened that has the list of analysis tools, and if I scroll down, I'm looking for histogram. So I'm going to select histogram and click OK. Another window has now opened up, and the first question that they're asking us is our input range, and I can either type the cells for that, or easier yet, I'm going to click and drag for my input. My input are my raw data values. So I'm clicking and dragging down, and it's showing that list of values. Next, I'm going to select my bin range. I need to highlight or type in the range B2 to B5. As in the last, it's easy to click and drag. Next, we want to check our output range here on our output. We can select a new worksheet if we want to, but I'm going to select output range and then just highlight a region on my spreadsheet where that summary result is going to land. We do want to select the chart output, which is going to give us a graph of our frequency distribution as well. So everything has been taken care of. We're ready to click OK. And what we have is our frequency distribution. Our bins in Excel, the assumption is 0 to 5. One more than 5 would be 6 to 10. One more than 10 would be 11 to 15, and so on. For our class intervals, they have taken each one of our values and have determined how many are in each one of them. And so we can see the most common is the 6 to 10 hours per week of studying. That's 9. The least is in that category of 21 to 25, and so on. We have a histogram where we can use this as our graph, a picture of our data, and we can type a title appropriate for this. So we'll call this Study Time for 20 Students. Our frequency isn't, since there's only one set of values there, I'm going to click and delete that. And instead of bin, so that someone else would understand what these values are, we're going to type something like hours studying per week, and it's already defaulted with frequency on our vertical axis. Typically on a histogram, the values are, the bars are connected to one another, so there's no gaps in these values. And so that it looks like the classic histogram, I have clicked on one of the bars. If you notice, each one of the bars is highlighted, and then I'm going to right click with my mouse, which opens up the window of options. At the bottom, I'm going to select Format Data Series, and way over here at the right, my first option is to change that gap width underneath the series options. And so I'm going to bring that right down to 0, and as you notice, it now has the classic look of a histogram where there's no spaces. This 5 is placed in the middle here. It's the range of 0 to 5, 6 to 10, and so on. And we can clearly see the most common studying time per week is in that 6 to 10 hour range, with the least being 21 to 25. So visually, a nice way to represent the data values. It's also a fast and efficient way of organizing your data into a frequency distribution when you have a large number of data values. Entering them in a matter of series of clicks through the use of the data analysis button, and we have a nice printout that we can then make some observations about the data.